Hey guys, today we're going to be going over gas metal arc welding, also known as MIG welding. So this right here is your gas metal arc welder. And gas metal arc welding is a arc welding process between a consumable metal electrode and your piece of work. The gases that are usually used in gas metal arc welding consist of 75% argon and 25% carbon dioxide. So this right here is your gas metal arc welder. If the camera will come forward. This right here is your chart. So our wire that we're going to be using today is 0.035, and the metal size that we're going to be using is 1/4 inch, which means our settings is going to need to be to a 5 and 48. Down below, this is your coil of wire, which is steel coated with copper. Down below is where it gets feeded through the wire into your MIG gun. Okay, proper PPE that you should be wearing is you need to be wearing safety glasses at all times when you're in the shop. You want to be wearing a long sleeve 100% cotton or an FRE shirt. You want to wear blue jeans, leather closed-toed shoes, and for welding, you want to make sure that you have your welding gloves, your welding cap, and your welding hood. You also want to make sure that you tie back any of your long hair, and you want to take your jewelry off before you start welding. To turn on your MIG welder, you want to make sure that it's hooked up to a power source. Mine is hooked up to the wall back there. Next, you want to make sure that you turn it on, and you'll just refer back to the chart on what the settings will be. You also want to open up your valve all the way on your gas tank. And where is the MIG welder? This is your MIG gun. So in order to check your gas, you're going to pull the trigger, which will feed out the wire. And you'll check right here. It should be between 20 and 30 on your dial. These are pliers, or also wire cutters, where you just cut your wire. So I preset this, but you want to make sure again that your settings are set to 48 and 5 before you start welding. And that is how you set up your MIG weld. Okay guys, when welding, I'm going to show you with this pin and this piece of metal. You want to make sure you do rainbows going down, and you want to do little C's going up. And when you tack, you want to hold it there for about, I'd say 3 seconds, or until it gets to the size of like a pencil eraser. So rainbows going down, for this instance, is like this. It's not going to be as big, but this is the gist. And then going up, you want to create C's like this. Okay, so let's begin welding. First, I'm going to show you what a proper weld looks like. For the most part, I'm not too good at it. You want to make sure you have all your proper PPE on. Make sure your machine's turned on and everything like that. Alright, so this right here is your gel-like substance that you use. This is what it looks like. It's a bit dirty. But anytime between, I say 3 to 5 welds, you want to dip this in there to lubricate your gun, because if you look in there, there's a bit of debris, which we'll clean out with the wire cutters. So you kind of just stick your wire cutters in there, and you just kind of take it out and get it as clean as possible so that you can have a nice clean weld. You also want to make sure that your wire is the appropriate size before welding. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how to do a proper weld: up, down, and tack. You also want to make sure that your wire, or your cord that has your wire in it, is not tangled up so that you can get the proper feed out. camera will pan here. This is what a proper weld looks like. Now don't touch the metal because it is hot. So this is me going down with the rainbows. Next, I'll show you how to go up. This weld's not too good, but this is what it looks like whenever you go up with your C's. And real quick, I'm going to show you what it looks like to tack. Alright, so these are tacks. You want them to be about the size of a pencil eraser. And next, since we did a couple welds, we're going to dip it in our gel, and it should just fall right out. If it doesn't, you can always pull the trigger and it will just blow it out with the air. Now that I showed you how to do proper welds, I'm going to show you some examples of going a little too fast and a little too slow. Okay, so this is what it looks like to go too fast. You got some breaking points in there and it's really skinny. Now let's go with too slow. So this right here is what it looks like when you go too slow. It gets really fat and it all just kind of piles onto each other. Now I'm going to show you how to weld two pieces of metal together when it's laying flat. I'm going to use the downward method just because I think that's easier for me. Alright, here we go. Alright, so usually you want to tack it together before welding it, but I didn't. When you are welding it two pieces of metal together, you want to make sure you're pulling from each side of the metal so that you can get metal and they can join together like this. Next, I'm going to show you how it is to weld two pieces of metal together at a 90-degree angle. So the one thing that you want to be careful with is when you're welding, the metal kind of sinks in and it'll start coming in at an angle. So you want to try to have something to keep it from doing that. I have this little square thing. So I'm just going to set my metal up like this. And I'm going to tack either side. Okay, I'm going to tack either corner or either side so that I could take this thing off underneath and just weld it like that. Alright, so you got two tacks on the side right here. That way we can take this off and we'll be able to weld it just like that. Okay, so this is what it looks like whenever you're welding down and you're welding it together. Now, don't touch your metal because it is hot and it will go through your glove, but it may not be perfect, but it is a pretty good 90-degree angle. And lastly, with all your metal, you want to make sure that you go over here. You go over here and you dip it in water. And that's what I'm gonna do. Dip it in water so you can cool it off. There are some metals, like the one that we're going to be welding with today, which is cast iron horseshoes, where if you're not using the right type of wire, you don't want to put that in water, which I will repeat later, because you don't want your welds to crack. You also don't want to hit it on anything hard while it's still cooling, because your welds will crack. If you have any questions about how to do this or anything like that, you can always get with me and I can reteach you and show you how to do it. Alright guys, so I already have my project set up. Today we're going to be tacking together a cross with some horseshoes. You're going to need about 10 horseshoes for this. So if the camera woman will pan to this is how I have it. I turn them upside down or on their other side because this is the side where the tacks will be going on. And we're going to start that right now. Well, what you want to do first, before starting, my bad, is you just want to try to tack it to where these horseshoes meet. By the way, this is cast iron, and after you tack it together, make sure you don't put it in water because you don't want your welds to crack. Now let's begin. Let me see if I can pick it up real quick with these pliers to show you guys. Alright, we're all done. Make sure you finish your project, let it cool down before you take it home. So probably the most important thing besides safety is cleaning up after yourself and cleaning your shop. The first thing that you want to do, you want to take all your metal that you practice with and put it in the scrap bin. Next, you're going to turn your equipment off and just put everything back the way it was. Take your clamp off and just try to roll everything nice and neatly. Make sure nothing's really hanging off. And one of the most important things is always close your valve on your gas. Completely turn it to close. And then we're going to unplug it and put it back where it was. That is how you MIG weld. If y'all have any questions, please let me know when I get back and I will answer every single one. If you need more examples on how to MIG weld and you need me to demonstrate it, just let me know and I'll help you out.